Hi guys, PoE Noob here. Today I would like to share my league starter. Again, I will not league start with the meta and known and well-known builds that everyone is talking about, such as Cold Dot, Toxic Rain, Righteous Fire, Explosive Arrow, etc. Don't get me wrong, they are absolutely very strong as a league starter, but it's just not my cup of tea to sort of pick a meta build that everyone plays. So as you already know from the video title, I will be league starting with Lightning Tendrils, which very few people are talking about. It's a channeling skill, and I know when I talk about channeling, you may think, oh, it needs you to stand still and will be pretty clunky to play. Well, that is not always the case, because any non-channeling self-casting spell also requires you to stand still. And on the contrary, channeling skills have no swing before and after casting, which makes them actually smoother. So you can see when I walk and when I want to cast and keep walking, it's very smooth, and there is nearly no swing before and after the casting. But when I cast arc, it actually feels clunky. And when you cast arc and when you want to change the direction, it also not feels good. But for the channeling skill, I can rotate smoothly. Also, with some investment into AoE and explosion, the mapping is not bad at all. Let me quickly show you what the mapping looks like with a little bit AoE and no explosion, but just Herald of Ice. So this is my gear. It's just like trash gears for Magic Find. And also the skill tree is for the cold spell, it's not for lightning. But still, I will show you what it looks like for mapping.
When I'm ready and not before.
So as you can see, the mapping is okay. And now back to the patch note. This skill actually already had insane damage even before this patch. Yet once again, it received around 100% more damage buff without many people realizing it. So I made this video to let more people know this skill. So let's first look what are changed for this skill in the patch note. So first of all, the flat damage and the effectiveness increased around 30%. So that is 30% more. And then the behavior of the stronger pulse changed from granting 200 more damage to always crit. Second change. The third change is the stronger pulse is now every 3 pulses instead of 4. And finally, the phantasmal quality changed. And from the numbers, you might feel it is a big nerf, but actually not. It might even be above. Why? Because the previous version, 250 more damage, it is actually additive to the stronger pulse 200% more. It's not multiplicative. But for the new behavior, the 150% more damage is actually multiplicative with the critical chance. So it might be a buff instead. But still, just from these descriptions, we have no idea how much buff it is. So I did some math, and we can take a look together. Okay, math is here. Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to compare with arc. So why arc? Because arc is a very typical lightning skill that can do both single target DPS and clear damage, and it does not require any support gem to function well. So from the arc, so you can see this is the base damage, and this is the cast speed, and this is the unchained damage bonus, and in total. And then for the old Tendril before patch, the base damage here and cast speed, which almost triple the damage here. And then the damage penalty for the alt quality, and then for the pulse. So for the pulse, this is the chance for normal pulse, and this is a chance for stronger pulse. And for stronger pulse, we will get 200% more plus the 250% more from the alt quality, so which is in total 450% more, which equals to 5.5 multiplier. So final numbers here. So if we compare, we can see that old Tendril actually has 125% more DPS. Not to mention that the Tendril has 6% base crit, while the arc only has 5. Okay, and now let's further compare the old Tendril versus the new Tendril. But it is not that easy to compare these two because we are building them in different ways because of their different stronger pulse behavior. So to have a fair comparison, I did some assumption here. So I assume that for old Tendril, I will build it which target for 90% crit chance and 600% crit multi. And for the new Tendril, I will target for 600 crit multi, and the crit chance is always fixed because it always crit at the 3rd hit. And I will also assume this. So each skill point can grant one of the following: either 2.8% more damage, or 35% increased critical chance, or 18% crit multi. And I know that the 35% crit chance is actually a little bit higher than the average. But considering that we can get some crit chance from other sources so easily, such as the bottled faith, so I kind of like to put a higher number here. And this will benefit the old Tendril DPS. Same for this one, so 18% is also above average for one skill point, but I would just like to make it a little bit fair for the old Tendril. Okay, now let's calculate the DPS for the old Tendril plus an amulet, because the new Tendril its core item is this unique amulet, which gives 280% crit multi. So I will also give the old Tendril a GG amulet. So the DPS is 1, so I just set the base damage to 1 for simplicity, times the cast speed, times the alt quality and pulse, so which is already calculated above, and also times the amulet, which gives 35% more DPS. And finally, because we have 90% crit and 600% crit multi, which equals to 5.5 multiplier. So in total, we get 58 DPS. And then we will calculate how many points are needed to reach this level. So to get 90% crit chance, we will have this. So this is the increased chance, total increased chance needed, and this is what 1 point can grant. So in total, it needs 40 points. And also it will need 450% multi, which plus the base 150 multi equals to the 600 multi as our target. Divided by the 18 per point, it needs 25 points. So that's for the old Tendril. And then for the new Tendril plus the amulet, we have 1 as the base, and we received 30% more damage as the damage buff from the patch note. And the same cast speed and the damage penalty from the alt gem. And this is the pulse damage multiplier, which is calculated through this formula, which is the chance for normal pulse times 1, and the chance for stronger pulse times the crit multi, because it always crits, and also times the 150% more damage from the alt quality. So in total, it is this number. Okay, and then times the cowling from the amulet, we got this number. And for how many points it needs, actually we only need 170% crit multi, because for crit chance, we already has the fixed 33% crit chance, because it always crit at the 3rd hit. So for this much multi, we only need 9 points. So conclusions here. So for the old Tendril, it has 58 DPS and needs 65 points to reach this level. And for the new Tendril, it is 24, which is around half the DPS, but it only needs 9 points. And now we can convert the remaining 56 points into the DPS. As we assumed, 1 skill point can give 2.8% more damage. So the new DPS with 56 points is 116, which is around 99% more, which just nearly doubles the damage. Not to mention that the new Tendril can use the control destruction support gem, which is better than most other support gems. So we can also assume like around maybe 6% additional DPS. So all in all, the new Tendril doubles the damage of the old Tendril, and the old Tendril is more than double damage of the arc. So which said that the new Tendril is more than 4 times DPS than arc. So that's how OP it is. And also make a very simple POB to see how much DPS it can get. So I choose the elementalist as the ascendancy, and the tree looks like this, but it is not optimized at all. And for skills, I'm using the 21 Lightning Tendril and just very basic support gems. And for aura, I'm using Wrath and Grace and Herald of Ice for explosion. And for curse, I'm using elemental weakness and frostbite. And I'm also using the righteous fire because I have life regen from the gears. So the core item is this amulet, and I anointed the Whisper of Doom for an additional curse. And then the other core items are Call of the Brotherhood, convert all your lightning to cold, and then the Heat Shiver, which is OP and not nerfed this league, which can also doubles your damage. And for weapon, I'm just using the Singularity, but you can get some GG rare wand. For other gears, it's just very normal. like +1 gem shield and some res and regen and life. Pretty basic. And I have 7 jewel sockets empty, but I added the stats in the custom modifiers. It should be more than enough to get these from 7 sockets. And also I did some modifier for the new Tendril skill because the skill here is because the skill here is the older version. I'm using the normal pulse and some modifier, so these two will guarantee a 33% crit chance, and 30 more damage is the flat damage buff from the patch note, and 50% more damage is from the alt quality. So with all of them combined, with just not optimized gear and tree, we can already get 30 million DPS, which is literally busted. But again, it's not a build guide, and I'm not recommending this build for everyone. I'm also might not be following this because the EHP pool is not good. The defense is not good. We have some basic evasion and very small spell suppression and low chaos res. Yeah, so just remember that 1, 2, 3, 4 core items and elementalist and the basic tree, and this basic tree which is not optimized, and also this node is mandatory because we already converted all our lightning damages to cold, so we will need this for max shock. We can always hit max shock easily because the stronger pulse just hits so hard. You can see the average for normal pulse, the average is already 2.6 million, so I guess the stronger pulse should be more than 10 million. Okay, so that's all about this skill, and now you know how OPE, how busted it is, and just feel free to build your own version using the core items. And hope you enjoy your league start, and thanks for watching.